All right, everybody, we're back with another interview for our Friday video, and I have a very, very special guest with me, the Almighty Saiyan. You never know; it could be a Saiyan God. Anyways, his name is Alex from Unreal Entertainment Gaming. How about you introduce yourself?
I am the penguin of penguins, and I hail from the greatest continent on the planet, Antarctica. Thank you for all my penguins out there watching. Thank you very much. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. For those of you out there who are watching this, please subscribe to Jason's channel, ActionSayianGamer. He is awesome. His videos are awesome. And particularly, if you want to ask me some of my favorites are always the Last of Us episodes because you got yourself in so many sticky situations that I swear to God it seemed like you weren't gonna get out of them, and that was what drew me into it even more because I was just like, well, how is he gonna pull it out of this one? And then somehow you did. So thank you for having me, and welcome, my penguins. Welcome.
All right, I think it's time for some questions. Okay,
Let's
so
go.
I think a main question that probably a lot of people would probably want to know is what made you want to start YouTube?
All right. Well, I mean, I've always wanted to do it since I was a kid. Ever since I had like my very first PlayStation 2, I had a friend who, when I went over his house, he was playing his PS2, and I remember after he was done playing it, he would pull out like this VHS tape from his VCR, and I remember I asked him like, what was it for? So I remember he put it in the VCR and he played it back, and lo and behold, he was playing. I was actually watching the same game he was playing on his VCR, and I was like, "What? Like this is awesome! Like, how did you possibly manage to record your gameplay footage from your PS2 onto your TV?" And it was like a whole process hooking up your VCR because your VCR had to be a special kind of type, and you had to set certain settings up. So I remember when I did it at home, I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I was so ecstatic about it. I remember I used to take up like entire VHS tapes that would contain 2 hours and 3 hours and whatnot. I would try to show it to my friends, but nobody would give a shit. So that's actually what drew me into it is the fact that I remember doing it. I was always like, well, I've always wanted to allow people to watch what I was doing because it was so funny because I had like these very stupid moments and I would be the only one that would sit there and and partake in that. So I was like, well, you know what? I wish more people would see how stupid I am playing games sometimes because you do run into certain moments, and from there it just grew. My very first YouTube channel, I remember I started off with such a shitty camera. It was so shitty. I wouldn't want anybody to have such a thing. It was a pocket camera. It was a very standard definition camera, and my very first video was I was doing a little review on a wrestling show because at the time I didn't know what YouTube was, and this was back in 2006. So when I first came on here, I was like, well, I hear people talking about it in school, so I'm looking around, I see a whole bunch of people bashing certain companies and whatever. So I was like, you know what? Let me just make a video of my own, just stating my own opinion, and I did that, and it just grew from there. But for that, I mean, over the years, I've always had an interest in just recording and just editing and stuff. It's always been a natural thing for me because I think creativity is always going to serve a purpose for everybody because we all want to be creative. I'm sure you're creative. We're all creative, so we all want to showcase that. But for me, over the years, I had such shitty stuff, and I still do. I mean, I don't have some of the stuff that somebody like PewDiePie has or anything like that. I mean, I'm grateful for what I have. But I think that once you start doing this and you start getting really deeply involved, you want to become more creative and you want to build your own world, and that's pretty much how it started.
Yeah, that's actually that last part is true. You really get really into it. It's just something about YouTube when you really it draws you in and you just keep want to keep doing every day. I find so.
Exactly, and with dedication like you, I've been watching a lot of your videos, not all of them, but I've been watching a lot of them, and from your very first video till now, you can see the improvement in terms of quality, in terms of sound, in terms of direction, and it's really grown, and it will continue to grow. So as long as you just put more effort into your stuff. I mean, that is until one day the government decides to shut the internet down, which I really hope doesn't happen one day, but who knows. But like I said, I mean, there's always room for improvement. So, like I said, you can never go down. You can always go up in life. So that's just my partake on it.
Yeah, yeah. Another question. What was the first like I know you have Unreal Entertainment Music, you
Mhm.
got so many. What was the first one that you started with?
All right. Unreal ENT Music is not mine. It's my friend John's, and he's been using it the way he wants to because he's been wanting to do music and whatever. And I made it for him, and he was like, you know what? Let me just try to do some instrumentals and stuff. So that's his. But my very first YouTube channel was called WWE Rule 5, right? And it was just basically a little review channel. I was gonna review pay-per-views and review stuff, and even if I were to get two people to watch it, I was so fucking happy. Yeah, like literally. And the uploading time would take forever because, like I said, I didn't know anything at the time. But from there, I grew on to make a channel called Alex Animal 7, which was my Xbox Live gamer tag. And my first ever video, I remember I met a kid named Cody on Halo 3, and I remember he mentioned something about recording Halo 3 gameplay, and I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean record?" And he told me about a capture card called the Adaptec Game Bridge, and it was some time. It was a while ago until I got it, but then when I finally got it, I started messing around with it. And my very first video was a Halo 3 video, with me and my friends just messing around on Forge and whatever. Like I said, I mean, it started off very small, and I think if you still go to that channel, you can still find some of the old stuff. They're like 5, 6 years old, but like I said, I mean, you get to see how far one person has come. Like I said, your videos from your very first video till now, you can see how far you've come. So for me, I it was so shitty too because the capture card was shitty. Like the way I was recording was shitty. I was using Windows Movie Maker, which is shitty. Everything was so shitty. The recording, like our voices were shitty. The acting was shitty. Everything was so shitty. But yet at the time, we all thought it was gold. So I mean, looking back on it now, it's kind of funny because like if we can get like the shit award, that's what I would get. It literally was just terrible. But
uh, that's actually pretty funny. But anyways, actually, the way you're saying how that you're using Alex Animal 7, it's so funny because I started out with my username on the PlayStation, which is Roosinator.
there you go.
And anyways, I started out for that, which was I just did like random videos, and one of them was actually a school project, and it really got me into it. That's how I started with my friend's channel, which is Marvin and Mark, which you already know about
Yes,
that.
I saw the interviews and stuff. Why aren't you continuing that? I mean, like that, I think that can go a long way. So as long as you guys start tweaking some stuff, like in terms
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
just like
Um,
changing some certain scenarios and certain settings or whatever, it can really. I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, you guys were in suits. I was like, wow, this is this 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 is something. I swear to God. I mean, like I said, everybody's channel on here is different. In particular, like this community is big, but that's why I could have chosen the easy route. I could have went and done Call of Duty 24/7, but that was something that I vowed not to do because I always saw other YouTubers as doing different things as a better thing for everybody because if you decide to do something like everybody else and like let's say for example we're all doing Call of Duty, what makes our content different? What makes our channels different? You know, it's not. It makes us all the same because we all have Call of Duty, right? So um when I came on here, I was like, you know what? I at the time I loved Call of Duty so much, but I was like, you know what? Let me not because in order to be different, you have to stand out. So I chose my favorite route, which was Dragon Ball Z, and here we are today. But like I said, I mean, um, going back to what you said about your school project, I remember I had to do the same thing, and showcasing it at my school because it was about a stupid play. And I remember when I first showed it to everybody, nobody gave a shit. Everybody was like, "Eh." But like I said, I mean, just you come a long way, and a year from now, like I said, you're gonna look back and you're like, wow, that was me then this is me now. Like you're gonna see a huge difference. Like I said, you can never go down, you can always go up. So as long as you decide to put in the time. So
yeah. Um, what was it? I was gonna say. I was just thinking of something, and I was like, "Oh, great." Um, oh, freak. Anyways, it was something about you were saying. Frick, what was it? Ah.
brain fart.
I think that's what happened. Um,
It's fine.
um, but anyways, oh yes, it was about the assignment, like you were saying. Actually, mine wasn't for like a play or anything. Mine was actually for what was it? Like I did an abstinence video, pretty much saying don't have sex before marriage. Yeah, and that I don't know. It was just so random because like I said, I was doing my first channel with my username, and
Right.
I just saw that like my first project, which was in that class, and anyways, I was just like a video for the class. I'm like, that sounds like something interesting we should do.
Yeah, exactly. It always is because you begin to get creative, and that's the best part.
Yeah, because what was it? Like at first, um, my career, I really wanted to do something like to make creative things, like kind of like what we're doing for YouTube and that. But I kind of lead in a different way from Comtech, but after that, but yeah. Anyways, I think we're starting to interview me here.
It's fine. I'm actually listening.
Okay. Anyways, I should probably start answering another question here. What's another question? Actually, did you watch the whole like the whole beginning of Dragon Ball Z when you first watched it, or?
Oh my god, man! I remember I came home from school. I didn't know what was going on. I just saw two guys fighting on the TV, and it looked so brutal. It drew me into it. It just it happened to be Frieza and Goku, but before that, I didn't really. I remember my friends kept talking about it, and I didn't give a shit because I didn't know what it was. But then when I
Mhm.
first saw it, I was like, this looks pretty cool. Like there's like a blonde headed dude swinging at some alien guy, and they're like really beating the piss out of each other, and it looks so awesome. And then over the years, I slowly started getting into the Cell Saga, and then I really got deep into it. And I started watching the Majin Buu Saga. That was at a point where I remember I had to go buy VHS tapes because I couldn't watch it on TV because at the time we didn't have cable, we didn't have DirecTV, so it was miserable.
Mhm.
But the very first time I bought a Dragon Ball Z VHS tape that I loved was I think it was when Goku went Super Saiyan 3. I still have the VHS tape somewhere, and it was I swear to God, when he transformed, I had like a miniature orgasm. It was just so like amazing to see, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, this is insane. But as I started getting older, I wanted to find out more about Dragon Ball Z. So then I found out about Dragon Ball, and I started watching it. And there's a big difference between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball
Oh,
mainly focuses on martial arts, on the tournaments, on pretty much literally having an adventure because Goku and Yamcha and Bulma and all his little friends would go everywhere just to look for these Dragon Balls and stuff. And it was really cool to see that. But I would have to say Dragon Ball had less action than Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z really engaged you in terms of
oh
story and character development. It was just surreal. I was like, whoa.
yeah. For me in general, well, anyways, there's a network called YTV, which is like pretty much like Toronto.
Right.
Anyways, um, so anyways, they announced it saying Dragon Ball Z is coming out, and they show like little pictures and that, and literally, to me when I was a kid, it was pretty much like you just watch that one kid channel. It's like you just stick to that for the rest of the week.
Yes, like Toonami and Fox Kids and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And anyways, it was just on, and I was like, oh well, this is like new, I'll just check it out. And it started out like the first season, and I was just like, oh wow, like it's like at first like I was interested a little bit, not much, but then when Raditz showed up, I think that's when I got really hooked into it, and it was like, oh god, what's gonna happen next? What's the next part? And it really drew me in, and
I always thought that little part was kind of boring, like the whole Raditz. Like I remember watching it back, I was like, all right, let me see how this shit originated. And when Raditz came down, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. But then when it came down to them fighting, it wasn't as I would say engaging as everything else was. I mean,
yeah.
it was cool, but you started off with Raditz, I mean, which was the very beginning, which is good. I started off like way late. I mean, I swear to God, I came home, I turned my head, I saw Goku just punch Frieza so hard that he went through a mountain. I was like, what the hell is this? And I remember I didn't even take my book bag off. I just stood there like, the fuck is going on? And I remember like they were all bloody and shit, and Frieza threatened to kill like his son. I was like, whoa. Did he just say kill on TV? At the time, I'm a kid. I'm like, whoa. So I'm watching all this shit unfold, and then it ended, and I was like, well, hold on. What show is this? and it popped up saying Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, I have to watch this tomorrow. I have to see like what this shit. And the next day came, and it just grew from there. And I was like, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
yeah. I do have to say, watching that as a kid, there's a lot of like they gave the middle finger. They said shut
Yeah.
up. Like it's like they didn't really care about the language and anything. They just knew it's gonna be a cartoon show. We're just gonna throw whatever we want in this.
Well, I mean, times have changed. Kai is nothing like fucking
No,
Dragon Ball.
no. But like I guess I didn't realize like the middle finger, the shut up word, like it was just like, it just flew by. It's like, oh yeah, this is like so funny.
And
Ha
they
ha
always
ha.
used to mention the word ass a lot, and I was like, what? What? I remember like Hercule said something about. I remember it was at the Cell tournament. He said something about I'm gonna whoop your ass, and he flipped him off. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? They're showing this on TV. This is awesome. This,
Yeah, like you don't realize it till like actually you look back at it and it's like that you it's like I really was allowed to watch this when I was a kid. It's like, huh. It's like you just realize it's like if you look back and go, would you actually want to let yourself watch that when you're a little kid? But
oh,
it's like,
absolutely. If I can go back in time, I would literally just like stop myself from like watching any other TV show, and I'd be like, hey, you need to watch this on Toonami every day at 4 o'clock. Like you have to, like, because at the time
yeah,
I was on and off about it, but then once the Majin Buu saga came out, I was just like hooked, man. And the Cell Saga, I caught glimpses of the Cell Saga, but like I said, I had to rewatch everything on tape just to understand what the hell was going on. But I mean, like I said, I believe those were the glory days because
oh yeah,
nowadays you can't really if you miss something you can easily just watch it again on YouTube or something. But
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
and TV shows are different. Like I said, Kai's not the same as Dragon Ball Z.
Oh
Not even close.
no, it's not like they took out the blood. That when I saw like I was like, okay, they're renewing Kai, and I'm like, okay, I want to see how this is gonna go because I'm like, well, if Dragon Ball Z was good, how is this gonna be even better? And I was like, so anyways, I saw Raditz and Goku get shot right through the chest, and I'm like, where's the blood? Like, where's the
Exactly.
guts and blood, everything going? There's nothing. And when I saw that, I was just like, no, 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 no. This is just awful. They should have kept it the way it was. Oh
And the voice acting wasn't the same. It wasn't like they were so
no.
engaged into it. They
Oh.
were just like half-assed, and that's what really pissed me off.
Yeah, like Gohan. I'm like, Gohan is
Yeah,
not
like what
like.
happened to you? Like who's voicing you? That's terrible.
And then Frieza even sounded even worse. And I'm like, oh god, this is just
Frieza
getting
was
worse.
terrible. I couldn't bear to watch that, honestly.
I stopped watching after I heard Frieza's voice. I'm like, oh god, I don't think I'm gonna
I
watch
didn't even
this.
bother anymore.
I was like, I'll just go back to the original show.
Exactly.
Oh God! I actually speaking about the tapes though. I remember when the movies came out, like when they first just came out, and I remember one of my friends, he had like pretty much all the tapes. Like his mom would buy him all the tapes, everything. And anyways, we were always go up to him like, "Hey man, can we borrow that tape? We want to watch this movie this weekend." And that, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow." And that, and half the time we forget to bring it back to him, and he's
Yeah,
like,
my first ever tape was Broly's Second Coming, and when I saw it,
"Oh,
I was like, "Whoa!" And then I didn't know about the first one. And then once I was done watching it, I heard Gohan go, "Oh, he's back," and I was like, "Wait a minute, there's a movie prior to this." And then I bought the one before that, and then I was watching, and I was like, "This is." I always thought it was canon too, because I was always like, "Well, where was this guy throughout the entire time?" And but
yeah." Like I noticed like for the Broly movies a little bit, and I'm trying to think of another movie. But anyways, some I know they're non-canon and all, but
yeah,
it's just like they had like little pointers of like parts, like not like parts of the show, but or anything, but like it gives you like a little hint of like what part of time it's in and whatever. And it's like, so is it like actually part of the show? Like, is that like trying to do that? But it's not though. So I was like, ah,
I've
really?
always wondered that too. I was like, "Well, where were you throughout the entire time?" But
Yeah, it would have been nice though if they kept it like that. So, all right, we should probably move on to
all
another
right,
subject. What's another good question? Hmm. Okay, so like, I know you said before about the Unreal Entertainment group, And anyways, if that became like an official like thing, like a group thing, and someone said that someone had to be the leader of that group, who would be?
What do you mean? What do you mean by group though?
Like, well, you mentioned one time in your video, like you guys are a group, like.
like, oh, I see where you're coming from. All right, well, that's the thing. It's like one of my other little miniature goals or dreams I would like to say is for us to own our own little our own little studio, so to say. And that was actually inspired by Rooster Teeth because watching them all grow up as friends and having to have the same vision and love in gaming and stuff like that. Um, we've always wanted to have the same thing and have like our own little group and our own little like studio and then create not just content for YouTube but like animation and like art and pictures and stuff like that, or perhaps maybe somebody can go into gaming and start developing games, and that's something that I've always would have liked because like I said, everybody's creative in their own way, and it's not more so about one person's opinion, it's about everybody's because everybody like the old expression, two heads are better than one. Um, you never really know what may come out of a group thing. Like if you're the only one giving out your opinion and doing stuff, yeah, it may be great, but who knows how it would have turned out if you would have had the entire group pitch in. So that was actually my friend Brandon's idea. He actually wanted to do that, but his whole idea was he wants everybody to move in together and like live together, which is not bad, but at the same time, it's like everybody's pursuing different careers, so
Mhm.
living together would not be a probably a suitable thing. Um, but he actually pitched some really great ideas, and my friend AJ shot them all down. But for him, he've always wanted to do that, and it could always happen. But like I said, I mean, when you count the entire roster, I guess you could say, of people, it's like you can't really. I have one friend who just got married. So he's definitely out of that picture. I mean, in terms of trying to live there, because he's doing his own thing with his wife and whatever, So it's different. Me, I'm trying to pursue wrestling, so it's very hard as it is now. But in terms of the Unreal group, it's like it doesn't really consist of us as well. It consists of the community because, like I said, it's always important when people share their opinions because if you think about it, YouTube is nothing more than just one giant opinion based
Oh yeah.
website because if something's released, people have an opinion about it. It could be anything. It could be a trailer, a tutorial, a how to do, whatever. Um, so that was pretty much what we wanted to do. As of right now, I'm still planning on trying to build or at least look at having like a studio for everybody, but not just a place where we can all kick back and relax, but a working place where we all can develop not only animation content and stuff like that, but a place where we can actually try to enlist people that have video game background credentials in terms of web design or animation and stuff like that. Because, like I said, Rooster Teeth was a huge inspiration because watching all those guys have different specialties in different areas was really cool because this one guy could draw, the other guy can do web design, the other guy, so when you utilize all that, it really becomes something special, and that's what goes back to what I said earlier. um what makes us all different on here is the fact that we all provide different things. Like Rooster Teeth is not the same as White Boy 7th Street. You're not the same as PewDiePie. I'm not the same as Smosh. Like we're all different because we all produce different content. So
Yeah.
that's what makes us all different on here. And I think that's a good thing because when you're different, it's good. When you're all the same, it just becomes boring and it's not really unique. So
Yeah, it's like pretty much going, oh yeah, I'll look at this guy. Oh yeah, he sounds just like Markiplier, or this guy sounds just like PewDiePie.
yep.
Like the whole list, like there could be like 20 people that sound just like PewDiePie, or another list of Smosh or whatever. It's like, do you like what's the point of watching all these people if there's already one person like right there?
No, exactly. I never understood why so many people hate PewDiePie. I really like PewDiePie because I think that he's different. I think that he's different because at the time when I first discovered him, he was doing so many PC games that like he was playing games I never even heard of, and it actually drew
Yeah.
me into it. So comparing him to somebody else who's doing nothing but Call of Duty, I don't understand why somebody would prefer Call of Duty over somebody like PewDiePie, because PewDiePie to me was doing things that was different, as opposed to everybody else at the time who was doing Modern Warfare and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Yeah. Actually, speaking about you, I know we're already on a different subject and all, but speaking about like how you said about the studio inspiration thing, actually that kind of got me started with I wanted to do this thing. I don't know if you know Ren Link. I don't know if
mm,
that catches your mind. Okay.
no.
Anyways, they did a thing called Good Mythical Morning Show. And anyways, that really caught my attention. I was like, okay, that would seem so awesome because like me and my friend Mike do videos, like do random things of skits and stuff like they do. But they have it on two different channels. Um, but I thought it'd be pretty cool, like, we both sit back, relax, have like a show go on, have like little clips here and there,
I
go
think
on.
you should do it because in the end, the way I see it is this: we're all gonna die, right? But
Yeah,
what's more important about our life is the legacy we leave behind. Like, how would you want somebody to remember you? Like, for example, if you compare somebody like Hitler to PewDiePie, how would people remember Hitler? He was a genocidal man who murdered a lot of people. He was
yeah.
a bad guy. He will always be remembered as a bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
PewDiePie, if PewDiePie dies, he will always be remembered as the top YouTuber who always gave funny content, different videos and stuff like that. So he
Yeah.
was a good guy. Like it's all about how you want to be remembered. So for you, I would have to say just go for it, because it's not like you're 70 years old and you
No.
can't do it. It's like you're young, and if you have a person like your friend Mike who's willing to do it, if you guys are ambitious about it, do it, because if you don't do it, you're gonna look back one day and you're gonna be, oh well, we should have done it, but the whole
Yeah.
what if we could have, I would rather do it and fail if I could than look back and just sit there and go, well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
could have, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but I think the Marvin and Mark channel failed though. Like just to point that out, is because well, my friend Mike, well, he's from another town, and anyways, he's been having, I don't know if he's still having a hard time, but he's been really busy. He's working at nightclubs, he's working at restaurants, he's unstable at the moment.
Right.
Like he's moving from place to place, so he's kind of hard to like keep himself in one place at the moment. So, and that's how I kind of I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I want to do YouTube. I know Mike wants to do YouTube, but he's never around. He's always busy. He's trying to find a place to stay. Um, but that's why I said to him because he wanted to go to college at the time, and I said, well, if you're going to college and I'm going to college, well, why don't you just stay here? Because then we can do videos
Right.
and go to college at the same time. So, and he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But the only thing is that when his father kicked him out from some argument or whatever,
Eh,
then he really had a hard time trying to keep things going. Like he had to pay for his phone bill. Like he just needed a place to stay badly. So
right.
I don't know. It's just he's in the town where he is right now, and that's pretty much it. Like he doesn't have a chance to get anywhere else. So
I mean,
so that's why there's no. What? Sorry.
if he can't do it, then why don't you just do it yourself, and then at a point in time when he's able to come back and be stable, you can just
Yeah.
take off from there.
Yeah. Well, I did that for a bit, but then I noticed like people wanted like more videos, like like we did Trash Man and Wonder Kid, which people wanted more of. And they're like, we want more of these scenes, we want more of that. And like I did weekly updates, I did monthly chats, um, and like people didn't mind that, but they wanted the other person like more. I found like they wanted Mike, and they kept saying, "Where's Mike? Where's Mike?" Like,
Right.
and I'm like, "Well, I can't bring him over in a way," and I'm like, "Well, it's kind of hard." And so I said to my friend Mike, I said, "Look, it's gonna be hard if we can't both be here." And I said, I'll try a second channel, which we made Marvin and Mark 2, which was just, news about gaming and everything, which is pretty much this Friday video.
Right.
um, but that, I don't know. like I had to bring my friend Jesse, which is OMGJP. He kept coming half the time, and I was like, okay, well, Jesse's just coming over because I kind of need someone to talk to. Besides, like, because like that's pretty much how Marvin Mark was like you communicate with someone in the video. So,
Right.
um,
Well, I mean, if it never works out for your favor, you can always scrap it, but don't get rid of it. Just
oh no, no,
regenerate
like I
yourself.
still have all the videos that we made. I have like I look back at all those videos and like I post them on Facebook half the time once in a while because like it's just they were just great memories that I did and I just really like looking back and just think about those memories that I did of the
No, of
videos
course.
because it was awesome videos like I was really surprised how my friend did Herbert from Family Guy.
Right.
Oh my god, like he really surprised me. He was like, "I'm gonna do Herbert," because like that was our first, Crazy Canadian News. He's like, "We're gonna do an interview at Quahog with Herbert," and I'm just like, how are we gonna do that in general? I'm like, we have nothing. I said, okay, well, it's simple to dress up like Herbert because like I got the costumes. I have like a wig that's pretty much bald but with
Right.
long hair, and I have a robe, so that makes it simple to make Herbert. But then I was like, well, how are we supposed to get a voice? And he just said, well, there's no problem with that. And I said, well, what do you mean there's no problem with that? And he says, just listen and you'll understand. And when he did the Herbert voice, I cracked out laughing, and I was just like, "That is just perfect." I'm like even when we did the scenes, I think we did the scene about maybe 5 or 6 times because I couldn't take him seriously. Like I had to like because every time I look at him, he would do that voice, and then plus also he would try to act like Herbert. So like he would like stroke my shoulder and that, and
Uh,
I just burst out laughing because I'm like because well my friends are like weird, well not weird in general, but like Mike's the type of guy that he likes to express himself like out of the open. Like he knows how like he yells out random things. Like he likes to get people attention and that's how he did. But he's just like a comedian. Like he knows how to do this stuff, and he did Herbert so well that I just couldn't take the scene with it. So,
that's
but
awesome if you have somebody like that. That's a person that you know that's always gonna stick around.
yeah, and I just found the Marvin and Mark because Mike is like so hyperactive and like always like like jumping around or like making face impressions or doing something behind my back when I'm looking at the camera without looking at him, and I was kind of like because like Mike he goes off the bounce. Like he has no pressure of like pretty much doing anything. Like he can go up to a stranger and talk to them and try to make something stupid out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He can go up to any random person, start a conversation, and or do something stupid. Like I remember he dressed up like an elf and he went to the mall. He dressed up like an elf, went to the mall, and he saw Santa Claus at the mall, and he did that Will Ferrell thing from the Elf where
Oh
he sees
no!
Santa, and he was on the elevator going Santa, Santa.
Wow. Did they kick him out?
No, that's the funny part.
Wow. They would have kicked. They would have probably locked us up here in New York easy.
Oh God. Well, Renfrew is a very like easy place. Now, where I live, now, I asked your friends, Stefan, about when you guys were on the street, New Year's Eve party,
Right.
and you were like, loud in that. And I asked Stefan, I'm like, how are you guys able to do that? Like, go on the street and like act drunk and well, you were drunk, but like, like show the world like, well, the street or whatever, like you were drunk and like here, if I went outside and like went around like 2 blocks, right, and I started acting like a drunk idiot, you would have cops right like in front of you and less than a minute.
No, of course, same here. But it was New Year, so we took advantage. We was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure they're not gonna lock us up or do anything. So let's just take advantage of that tonight, and
Yes.
we
Yeah,
did.
see, it's hard here. That's the sad part. It's hard here because, see, the cops here in general, they're bored. They're bored out of their mind. They don't know what to do because there's no crime half the time. Like like we had someone that got killed, but it was like out of 5 years, like 5 or 6 years or something like that. But that was like recently from that time to time, right?
Right.
And the cops are so bored here that they don't know what the frick to do with themselves. So they drive around trying to find something. So if they find something that they think that, they can do,
Yeah, they're gonna
they'll
hassle you
stop
for
by
it.
and they'll bug you.
Yeah, same here.
Oh
Horrible. Fucking
God.
hate that shit.
Like, because I remember me and my friends went to McDonald's at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and we went through the drive-through, and one of my friends, TJ, he wanted to be an idiot, and he wanted to go and place his order at like the speaker, and he just kept yelling at the speaker, going, "Can I order?"
What did the cops
And
stop you
honest,
guys?
yeah,
Uh
and what?
no, I'm saying the cops stopped you guys.
Oh no, 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 not right away. No,
Oh, okay,
sorry.
okay.
No. Um, but anyways, my friends knew the people that were working at the time. Anyways, they just said, "Hey, the guy, you see the guy? He opens the window, like the far window, and he looks at my friend and goes, "Just get the hell up here." And anyways, we go up, we place our orders, and the guy's like, "Yeah, it'd probably take like 10, 15 minutes." He's like, "Don't worry." And anyways, we get our meals and we start walking back to my place because my friend likes to drop me off first and then drop off TJ and
Right.
then go back to his place. Anyways, we weren't far from McDonald's. We're just walking down the street and the cop just starts rolling down. And then we were like, I wonder if he's going to stop. And then we notice he starts slowing down. We're like, yep, he's going to stop us.
I hate when that happens.
And anyways, he's like, "What are you guys doing out here?" And we're all eating a freaking hamburger with McDonald's bags, and he's asking us what we're doing. And one of my friend TJ goes, "We're having burgers. Don't you notice?"
Oh, what a smart ass remark.
Yeah. And anyways, the guy's like, "So how'd you get the burgers?" And he's like, TJ's like, "Well, we just went up to the window and they served us." He goes, "They do that?" He goes, "Yeah." And the cop looks at his buddy and goes, "We should probably do that sometime."
Wow.
And
Wow.
then he goes, and then he says, "Take care, everyone." I'm like,
Yeah,
what
I
was the
mean,
point of
they sound
stopping
like
us?
chill cops. They don't sound like
No,
dickhead
but like,
cops.
they don't know what to do themselves. You know what I mean? Like that's why they come and bug you. They bug you. They want to do something.
Oh hell no.
No, but there's this one time we're inside my friend's house, right? And anyways, he flipped off the TV because he watches wrestling, right?
Right.
And anyways, he saw one of the guys and he flipped off the TV. And the cop pulls up to the house and says, "Did you flip me off?" My friend's like, "I didn't even flip you off." He says, "I was flipping off at the TV." He goes, "But I saw you at the window." He's like, "Yeah, we were playing pool. We're playing pool watching the TV."
Wow.
Oh my god.
What a
So
hassle.
yeah, so his mom said you should just apologize just in case. And he's like I'm going to say sorry to you right now, but he's like I'm not going to mean it. He says tomorrow I'm going to talk to your chief about this.
Oh.
Yeah. And plus he did. He went go and talk to the chief about it, so.
Nice.
But the cops are so bad here. They don't know what they're doing themselves, so. And the funniest thing is they said half of our cops gone. There's like two people at the station.
What happened to the rest?
They all went to Renfrew, like the next town over.
Oh my god. Two cops in
And
an
the funniest
entire
thing
town.
is,
That's
yeah, and the funniest thing is they're like the people that like take the calls. So, anyways, they're like, yeah, we got a progress in Arnprior, so they gotta drive half an hour from Renfrew to Arnprior just to get the freaking thing.
that's horrible.
I know, and I'm like, what's the point? And then like the city cops, they're the ones that come here and bug us, right? Because
Right.
all of our cops took so. And they're the ones that are bored because they're the ones that watch the highway and then they come into our empire and they're like trying to find something to do.
Right.
And they're the ones that bug you. So that's the stupid part.
Hell no.
um. Anyways, we should probably change to another thing.
All right.
Actually, it's actually pretty long this video.
42
Anyways, I
minutes.
should
Yeah.
probably, yeah. Best interview, and this is actually probably the longest interview I've ever did. Usually my interviews are like 10 minutes. This is longer.
Oh no, this kind of takes the cake.
Oh yeah, this definitely took cake. But you know what though? For this interview with a very special YouTuber that's got about 10,000, I think, or almost 100,000. I don't know.
Almost 100,000 penguins.
Okay, almost there. So that this is why it's gotta be a special video. You know, it's gotta be a long video for this many subscribers.
And I hope you guys have like your junk food and popcorn on the side. I know I would.
Or you haven't fell asleep yet.
Or that either.
Okay. Anyways, I think we should probably end the interview here.
All
Anyways,
right.
guys,
Well,
thank. Oh,
before I go, I just want to say thank you, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you guys like me, you're gonna like Jason as well. This kid is awesome. So subscribe to Action Saiyan Gamer. You have to do that.
mhm.
Thank you all for watching, everybody. Once again, Jason, thank you for having me, and I really hope you guys stay tuned because Jason's gonna be bringing you guys a lot more stuff. So
Oh
take it
yeah,
away,
especially
Mr.
with
Jason.
Steam. Steam is like my best thing right now, so I'm going with that.
Awesome. So go ahead, Mr. Jason, take it away.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching the video for the interview. Anyways, guys, we're going to continue our Friday video, which we'll probably get to gaming news in a second. Anyways, thank you, Alex, again. I really appreciate this a lot. Like you said before, not a lot of YouTubers do this to talk to their fans or whatever, and I really appreciate that the most. So thank you, Alex, for that. And let's move on to the Friday
To
video.
Antarctica I go. Peace, everybody.